I changed my mind on how I want to do the toilet room. So I said previously that I had planned to put a accent wall, which I still plan to do, but a different accent wall. I had planned to put like board and batten type accent wall or shiplap type kind of accent wall that I have from panels in the children's room, so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. I will show you what the kids' bathroom looks like. But I decided, you know what, I just don't really feel like doing that. So instead, I bought this stencil a long time ago that I plan to use as to make an accent wall for behind our bed, and I just haven't gotten to it. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to use that stencil for the back of the wall. So I'm going to color drench it, which I hadn't said that I was going to do that before. I was just going to color it, but I decided I'm going to color drench it. So, which means the ceiling, the trim on the bottom, everything is going to be that color, except for, you know, the things that, like all the walls, all the things on the walls are going to be that color. And then I'm going to do the accent wall, and you guys will see how I do that. I'm going to use a technique that I've not used before. I've never used a stencil before. If you, at least what I have seen, is that if you paint the base color of the actual wall first and then you paint the other color that you plan to use on the actual stencil, then that will prevent the bleeding effect that can happen if you just put a stencil on and try to paint. So I'm gonna do that and we'll see what happens. I wanna do it with a roller, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to do that with a roller, because that will save me a lot of time and effort. And if it looks like crap, then I will just not do an accent wall. I'll just paint over it and be done with it. So we'll focus on doing the color drenching in that room. So let's get to it. All right, I am going to color drench this room. You can see this color right here, this like horrible orangey color, is what it looks like everywhere in the bathroom. The other thing that you'll really notice, and you'll be able to see this in the before and after, but the tile that they placed, I really did not like it because it came off very orange, and now it doesn't come off that way. It comes off more neutral because the wall is now not orange. So it dims down that orange tone significantly in the tile. how this looks. So you guys can see. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to paint over this back the just normal color, and then I'm going to put some painter's tape down and kind of like a pattern, and then paint over top of that and see what that looks like. And if I don't like how that looks, then we're just not going to have an accent wall, because I don't feel like putting the panels up. It's just gonna be too much work. We'll see how this goes. But for now, I'm not a fan of how it looks. I don't think it looks right. So I don't know, we'll try this way instead.
So excited with how well the accent wall came out in the toilet room. I'm so glad that I was able to salvage it, and I couldn't imagine it looking any better than what it currently does. So let's get this bathroom finally complete by getting the cabinet hardware on.
As you can see, we have the cabinet poles for the large cabinets already on, and then the middle cabinet. But then when we tried to put the smaller ones on these, we realized very quickly that that was not going to work, because the way that this is on the inside with this right here, this part right here, it is interfering with this. So you can't put it in the actual center, because the center of this would result in you having to screw right in here. So we are going to get different cabinet poles for here that match similarly to the ones that I have in the kids' bathroom, where you actually just put in a small screw and they're like a half pole. So I'm gonna have to take that out, and I'm going to have to fill in the holes here and paint over, and then put the new cabinet poles that we bought. So those will be arriving soon, and you guys will be able to see what the finished product looks like.
Putting on these cabinet pulls ended up being a huge hassle. The screws that came with them ended up actually breaking. They ended up breaking off when I tried to screw them in for the first time. I edited all that out, but it ended up being a huge mess. So my husband worked on pulling out the screws. There ended up being 3 in total that got jammed in there before we decided, okay, this is definitely a huge issue. He worked on getting those out of the cabinet drawers while I worked on going to Home Depot and getting new screws that did not have that problem. And once we got the new screws, I did not have a problem moving forward. But it seemed like just one thing after another with regard to trying to get hardware on these cabinets. So I'm so glad with how it turned out, but man, was it such a hassle getting there. I cannot wait for you guys to see the final reveal in the next video, where I am going to show you what the entire bathroom looks like, remind you what it was before and after, and then go over a full cost breakdown so that you can see how realistic it is to update a master bathroom on a realistic budget. I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, I hope you have a luxurious day, but as always, I hope you are able to keep it on the low.